and is turned around. He's got Dan Rooke and Dave Bellaby for company on row one. They look towards the lights. It's blast off! Great start by Godfrey. Andy Grant sideways in the pack behind, and Rooke tries to go right round the outside on the run down towards the first corner. Kevin Procter was sideways in the traffic behind as they worked their way onto the loose for the first time. Bellaby comes up to try and find a way past Dan Rooke, but Godfrey is away in the lead. Bellaby goes through to take second place, or does he? Rooke losing out. Procter makes his move now up on the inside, and it's Kevin Procter up into second spot as the cars accelerate their way through the mid part of the lap. They're going from hard standing to loose and back again. It is very slippery indeed out there, and you're talking about 600 horsepower in some of these cars. That is an awful lot to try to control on this sort of a track. Simon Horton is in problems. Bonnet flapping on the car, a legacy of the earlier skirmishes. The race leaders working their way up towards the end of the lap, so Julian Godfrey had a very healthy advantage indeed. And Simon Horton's race is as good as run because he can barely see anything. Over the line they come then. Kevin Procter charging. Now what has happened to Julian Godfrey? He, I fear, is stopped out on the circuit. No, he's got going again, but a long way back, so Godfrey's had a moment, and Julian Godfrey off the road, back on again, but now finds himself in the traffic. So Kevin Procter leads the way, Dave Bellaby is second, and Julian Godfrey, yet again, finds a whole heap of bad luck heading his way. Simon Horton then limps into retirement, and what we now have is a very northeastern battle in South Wales for the race lead. It's Kevin Procter up front, but he's being chased very, very hard indeed now by Dave Bellaby. And Bellaby, despite going off the road a fair bit today, has also shown great pace, so he could yet take a real surprise victory here. But Procter, massively experienced, is hanging on in there. Down to the hairpin they come. The coach company boss leads the way, but Bellaby with a tighter line through the hairpin is throwing everything at this. They've rallied together with Bellaby in the co-driver's seat in the past, and here it's going to be a real fight to the end between the two of them. They're good friends, they're good rivals, and Kevin Procter leads the way, but he really hasn't sparkled in these conditions in the way that he normally goes in the dry. There are bits hanging off the front of his car as well as Dave Bellaby chips away, bringing himself into contention, but the closer he gets, the less he can see because the visibility is so bad. Tyres are knocked over there, and Dan Rooke, third, is the other danger in this as Rooke now tries to close on the pack ahead. You've got Pat Duran there, he also got in as a reserve, and he is sliding his way through at the back, but Dave Bellaby then sprints away now. Bellaby sideways, and Rooke goes past him. A mistake from Dave Bellaby, and that's all it takes. You put the power down too soon, the bat steps out of line, and zap, straight away you've lost a place. Down to the hairpin now then. It is Kevin Procter looking as though this is going to be a win, but that is a very, very wide approach to the hairpin. He gets away with it because he was able to get the power down very effectively and come charging over the timing line, but the man behind him is the real danger now. Dan Rooke taking over from where Dave Bellaby left off effectively as the real opposition. And Rooke looking quicker. He's shaken off the challenge of Bellaby, and so now the lead gap is coming down and down and down. Through they come, across the loose. It's rutted, it's slippery, it's very bumpy across that section now. Dan Rooke locks up as he hits the tarmac once again, the hard standing part of the circuit. Ever so careful, feeding the power back in, and a big off there. Jack Thorne demolishes the tyres. Loses control of the car, bounces across the tyre stacks, he's back on the road. Pat Duran has got up and passed him as well, but wow, what a race this is turning out to be. Kevin Procter is leading, and actually this is perhaps the surprise of the day, because given the pace that he's shown as the weather has worsened, you wouldn't necessarily have put money on him to win the Supercar Final, but with Godfrey having a drama early on, it's now Procter versus Rooke. Up towards the line they come, and Kevin Procter looks as though he's going to be home and dry. Kevin Procter wins the Supercar Final at Pembrey. Dan Rooke chases him home for second place. What a turn up for the books.